Hey, it's your girl Optimistic K, and I want to welcome you to episode 4 of the That's What She Said podcast. On today's episode, we'll be talking about growth and the process of becoming the best version of yourself. Okay, so before I officially start the show, I want to go ahead and give y'all the Music That Motivates Song of the Week. This week, it's called On the Come Up by my boy Mike Will made this and my boy Big Sean. This song really embodies everything an individual needs to have in order to make it or be successful. I feel like he really broke it down and lets you know, like, you got to cut off distractions. You got to be willing to be solo dolo sometimes. You have to be, focused in order to, master your craft or in order to become the best version of yourself. So this is why I chose this song. So y'all go check it out. Let me know what you think. It's dope. That beat is dope. And y'all already know, anything Big Sean drop, I'm going to be on. So that's why it's the song of the week this week. But go check it out. Let me know what y'all think. But all right, let's get into this conversation today. I want to take y'all back to 2016 real quick. Every month I have a moment where I reflect on my process and reflect on everything I've been through for the past year, just to see where I'm trying to go and remind me of where I'm trying to go. So when April started, I had my little moment. I reflected back on the last year of my life, and I was like, man, 2016 really was the year that defined my life. It kind of changed my life low key, but I had a lot of ups and downs last year, but I think that those hard times really, really, really gave me the strength to challenge myself. So I'm going to go ahead and share my 2016 with y'all real quick and let y'all know what it was like. So last year, at the beginning of the year, I was on cloud 9. I only had one class left to graduate from grad school. And I was just like, look, I'm about to beast this class. And then I'm going to walk across the stage with my fresh stole and my cords, because I knew I was graduating with honors. And I just was super excited about, what my possibilities were post-graduation. So I finished my last class with an A, and then entering into May 2016, I walked across the stage and I got to see a number of my good close friends graduate as well, which was so rewarding and so fulfilling. I must say that grad school was completely different from undergrad, and I really enjoyed my process, and just being able to drive down to Angelo State University and experience the campus and the people and everything really just made my 2016 start off with a boom. It was a good little boost for me. But anyway, so that first couple of months of 2016, I was coasting. I was on cloud 9. By the end of May, I was scheduled to go on a trip with my friends to Viva Las Vegas just to celebrate our accomplishments and, celebrate my sorority sister's birthday and my best friend's birthday. It was my first time being on a plane in a long time. I hadn't been on a plane since 2005 when I went to Cancun, Mexico. So I was just live because of that. Before we touched down, I had a number of things I wanted to do. I wanted to go ziplining. I wanted to get on the 4x4s. I wanted to, just live it up and do a lot of adventurous things. So when we touched down, we got to our hotel, went to sleep, and then the next morning we were ready to hit the trail, hit the ground running, and we did exactly that. When I got to Vegas, I really thought that it was going to be a trip where I was going to be able to just, live a little, because I don't get to do very many things because I'm always working. But going on this trip was supposed to be, just a time to cut loose and let loose. But ironically, I was there physically, but my mental state, I was not all the way there. I felt like I was watching everyone else have the time of their lives, and I was just there, just there in body, but not in spirit. So anyway, when we got ready to do all the different events that I just listed, I had I had realized that I wasn't going to be able to do those events because of my weight, basically. So I did a little research to see what the weight capacity was for the zip line, and of course it was like you couldn't exceed 200 pounds, I believe, and so I couldn't do that. And then when I looked at the four-wheelers, it was the same exact thing. So everything that I had on my little bucket list to do in Vegas, I couldn't do because of my weight. And honestly, that whole little realization just gave me um made me pause for a minute. Like, I was just like, bro, I can't even do the things I want to do because of my weight. And this has been a problem that I've had since I was younger. I've always been the heavier kid. I always been, big for my age and all these different things. But I mean, I just got used to it. Once when you're the bigger person in each friend group, you're kind of used to, dealing with the L's. You take L's all the time. So, I was kind of like disappointed that I couldn't do these things, but it really made me sit back and think about like how many other things I haven't been doing because of my weight and how my weight has been a hindrance for me like my whole entire life. So to add on to the distance of me not being there in spirit and in mind, that only made it worse. It intensified it. Like, I was basically thinking about all the things that was going on in my head versus experiencing Vegas to the fullest. So instead of like getting insecure about the situation, I tried to choose events and activities that I knew I could do just because, just to play it safe and like to do some fun stuff. So I canceled all the other adventurous stuff that I had in my mind to do. And I told my friend that I wanted to go to a show because I just knew that would be the safe option. I can sit down, watch a show, have a good time, and, just kick back with my best friend. So we bought tickets to a Zoomanity, I believe it's called Zoomanity, a Zoomanity show, and we got dressed up, got our stuff from concessions and all of that, and we got inside, and then I realized the seats were so small. Like, I was like, oh my God. So now, not only could I not zip line or ride the four-wheelers, I can barely fit my ass in this seat. And I was just like, this is so embarrassing. Like, it was so embarrassing, y'all. Like, I just really was like, dang, I can't even watch a show at a theater because of my weight. So that was like 3 strikes and you're out. My life, I was just like, yo, I have to make some changes because this right here is not gonna work. This is not gonna work for me. But the Vegas trip, all in all, like, it showed me that, I've definitely been just existing in this world. I hadn't been living. Like, I've been like coasting throughout life the whole time because anything that I wasn't able to do, I make adjustments versus addressing the issue head on. I would just make adjustments. This trip made me realize that I wasn't really just like, I really was not like addressing these issues. So, you know how they say everything in Vegas stays in Vegas? Well, not this time. I mentally packed all those visions, all those wake up calls that I got in Vegas, and I took them right back to Texas with me. Like, the minute I touched down on Texas soil, I started to think about what I was going to do with all the information I gained from Vegas. Like, what was I going to do with it? Was I going to do like I've done in the past and just like pack it away and wait for another moment for it to pop back up on me? Or was I going to address it head on and like try to fix the issue and be, a woman about mine? So like normal, bad habits die hard. So I literally just was like, I'll deal with it later. And God started dropping like some knowledge on me like throughout the rest of that time. Like, as I entered June, he started like dropping knowledge on me. He was like, I think you should think about the vegan lifestyle. And I was like, Jesus, I think you tripping, man. I live in Texas. I live in Texas where they make the best barbecue in the world. Like, I'm going to take that. I'm going to make sure I say that on this podcast. Texas has the best barbecue in the world. Anyway, I was like, he has to be playing with me right now. You're asking me to be vegan. First of all, I'm black. I'm not trying to be funny, but black people don't usually tend to go that route. It's more of a Caucasian thing. That's what people say all the time, but I'm not labeling it as that. But people usually say they're the ones who will go after and do this kind of thing. So when God said that, I was like, I don't know about that, Jesus. You tripping a little bit. I don't know. But the funny thing about it is I started doing research on it just to see what it was about. And, I bounced around the idea and just bounced it around because I never made a decision because I just didn't want to do it because it sounded like it would be difficult. It sounded like something that was going to be, that was going to require me to really focus and really dive in and be committed and dedicated to it. So I didn't even think about it anymore. I just, bounced around the idea. So I knew what God was calling me to do, but I was just basically buying time, trying to stall. And before I knew it, my 29th birthday was right around the corner. I was like, dang, time is flying right now. And so, like most people, when their birthday comes around, you try to get your body right, start looking good for your birthday. So I amped up my workouts and started paying more attention to what I was eating. And I slowly started to see, a little bit of change just by, that small amount of attention to myself and like being cautious of myself. And so that was like the first little vision. God was basically saying, if you can be dedicated and focused enough to achieve this small goal, think about what you can do if you applied this to your lifestyle and made a huge lifestyle change. And I was hearing God, I was hearing him, but I wasn't trying to take heed to what he was saying because I knew what it required of me. So I kind of waved God off again, but then he gave me the best gifts like I could have ever gotten for my birthday. The day after my birthday, I woke up and I just had such clarity. I was like very clear on what I needed to do. All I had to do was put the work in and be dedicated to the process. And it was up to me to say yes and accept the challenge that God was giving me. And that clarity he gave me was so strong, y'all. Like, I realized how foolish I looked, like working so hard to look good for one day, my birthday, but I neglected to take care of myself the other 364 days of the year. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, then God said, you were dying to live on your birthday, but you didn't realize that every day you were living, you were dying. And I was like, dang, wait, say that again, Jesus. And he was like, you were dying to live on your birthday, but you didn't realize that every day you were living, you were dying. And I was like, dang, that's a word. Like, that's real. Like, I really was doing that. So I basically packed up my little lessons, the life lessons I learned for the month of June, and I carried them in my little mental suitcase on to July. And it was like all those wake up calls, all of those visions that God gave me from May to June. I was like, I understand, Jesus. I get what you're trying to say. But yet and still, I did not act. I listened, but I didn't act. And that's what God was waiting on me to do. So I think in July, he was tired of waiting on me to act, and he forced me to by causing someone close to me to be in harm's way and causing someone to be lying in a hospital bed. So my mother is like my heart and soul. Anybody that knows me knows that my mother is my heart and soul. And I think that God knew that if I saw her in a state that she wasn't able to take care of herself or fend for herself, that it would motivate me to do what I needed to do. And I think that he used her to motivate me. But in July, my mother had a stroke. And it was like out of nowhere, y'all. Like, I hadn't seen any signs of her about to have a stroke or anything. It's like it just came out of nowhere. And when she had it, I saw her face was drooping on one side, and I like basically rushed her to the hospital. And I was like not ready for that curveball at all. I was like, but I gotta react. I have to move. I gotta act. And that's exactly what I did. I took her to the hospital, and they took care of her. She was in the hospital for a number of days, but the thing about it is she was gradually getting better every day. Something, it wasn't like she was bedridden, but she wasn't herself. And I had to sit up there at the hospital with her a number of days and watch her as she got taken care of by the nurses, and like them giving her medicine and seeing all these tubes applied to my mother. I just wasn't about that life. Like, it was crazy to me. And like, then I had another vision at the hospital. But the crazy thing about it is my mother and I switched places. I was in the hospital bed with all these tubes connected to me, and she was watching me crying, like not understanding why I was the one in the hospital bed, like having a stroke. And that really shook me up. Like, seeing that vision of my mother crying and like thinking about what it would do to her if I wasn't here. Like, what would that be for her? Like, how much would that hurt her for me to die before her? Like, a parent never wants to bury their child. They always think that they're going to go before their child. But the lifestyle I was living, I would definitely go before my mother because I was not taking care of myself. And so after God showed me that vision, I was like, I snapped out of it and I was like action mode instantly, because I knew that if I didn't start listening to what he told me to do, I would be right here in this hospital bed, and like God knows how long I would be there. So seeing my mother like that was my motivation. It really pushed me to make the lifestyle change that I needed to make in order to, better my lifestyle and be the best version of myself. So my mother got released from the hospital at the end of July, and she returned home to a totally different atmosphere. I threw away all the bad food in our house. I like basically set up the house to be a good foundation for a healthy lifestyle. And we set our sights on being great. Ever since then, like, as soon as August 1st came, I changed my life to a vegan lifestyle. I became vegan, and I basically enhanced my workouts and just really started focusing on being me and being a better version of me. And I feel like God took me through that whole entire process to lay the foundation for the next chapter of my life. Like, he taught me patience. He taught me obedience. He taught me that sometimes you have to be broken in order to be recreated and built in the way that he sees fit. So seeing my mother like that literally broke me. So I think that that's why he did it. He did it so that he can lay the foundation for me to be better and greater in my next chapter. So on August 1st, like I just said, I became vegan. I jumped. I decided to start living instead of simply existing. And I chose to chase every dream that I ever had in my life. Like, I mentally decided that I'm going to make up for all that stuff that I didn't do, all those dreams I didn't chase because of my weight. I'm going to make up for everything because it just didn't make any sense to be existing anymore. So I took control of my life, basically. I decided to be great. And I made myself a priority. And I think that that's the main thing that shifted my whole identity from 2016 to now. I changed the way I thought about me, and I made myself a priority versus making everybody else a priority. But anyway, the first step after going vegan that I made was I rededicated my life to the Lord. I always was very spiritual, and I always went to church and everything like that, but I had to rededicate myself because I was starting on a new journey, and I was like, this is going to require me to be walking with God step by step, day by day, every day, in order to get me through this process. So I rededicated my life to the Lord and started to seek him first in everything that I did. And that was the start of my spiritual journey, my vegan journey, and my self-love journey. And that situation, I feel, changed my life dramatically. Like, it really helped me to be able to be more focused, be more productive, and be, about my business, and to not be fearful. It shook my fear. It took the fear away from everything. So at that point, I started making declarations on what I was going to do, or what I will do, rather. I started making declarations, And I started to apply action to each declaration versus sitting back and waiting on God to bring it to me. So the main thing I wanted to do to show God that I was serious about rededicating my life to Him was I wanted to read the Bible in its entirety. I wanted to read it from cover to cover. And I set out to do that in 90 days. My church was doing the 90-day challenge, and so I picked up that challenge. I also started to develop my business plan. I made sure I was eating clean. I made sure I stayed on my workouts consistently. By November, I had already dropped 30 plus pounds, and I was right on track to finishing up uh my little 90-day challenge of reading the Bible from cover to cover. And I think that everything organically fell into place and began to run smoothly. Like, that was the crazy thing for me. I was like, once I started being obedient and once I started applying action to my words and my declarations, everything started to run smoothly. My courage and my strength started to grow as well. I started to not have any fear. Like, I basically was like, whatever I want to do, I can accomplish, because if I can do these things, I can accomplish anything that I want to do. So at that point, I drew up my little resignation letter and I sent it to my boss, and I told him that December would be my last month working for them. And I was like, okay with the situation. I didn't really know how everything else was going to play out. I just knew that God told me to quit. And I knew that I would bet on me any day. So I chose to bet on me, and I quit, gave my little resignation, and I quit. And it was active in December, the end of December. So that was so crazy to me because I had such a peace. Like, I can't even really explain it. Like, I didn't know where my checks were going to come from in January, but I had a peace about myself that I've never experienced before. So I just knew that it was right and I felt right. So I did that. By the time December came around, I finished all the goals that I tried to accomplish from August. So I finished reading the Bible from cover to cover. I had lost 50 pounds. I sharpened my entrepreneur ideas and my business plan, and I was ready to do what I need to do with that. And I was just like ready. I was ready for January. So when January tiptoed into my life, I felt like a new person. I felt like I had proven myself, like proven to myself that I could do anything I put my mind to. And so when January came, I came into that thing like, let's go January, let's get this thing going. So on January 4th, I started my 2 businesses, Level 27 Life Coaching and Advising, and 11th Hour Crafts and Flowers. And I realized that all the peaks and valleys that I went through in 2016 really were just there to groom me into this person and to teach me patience. The ultimate word for 2016 for me was patience. I had to go through the process of tackling old like issues and like really choosing me and not allowing it to take over my life. I had to take control of my life and be able to like make myself a priority and take care of myself versus taking care of everybody else. I made a major lifestyle change by changing my diet and like being active. Like, I mean, I've always been active, but I had to really like restart my life, my active life, and like just really submit to God's will and be okay with not knowing what's next. Like, that's the major thing I took from 2016, not knowing what's next and still being obedient enough to follow his will and follow his light and seek his light first. So 2016 taught me all kinds of things, and I really think that it was a life-changing year. It taught me to be a beast in these streets and chase my dreams because we don't know how much time we have left. All in all, 2016 helped me become more self-aware, and it helped me to learn myself all over again so that I could be able to make adjustments and enhance things that need to be enhanced versus me sweeping it under the rug or packing it away. I had to face my problems head on. And so for that, I just want to say that I thank God so much for giving me those tools and not, well, let me not say giving me, for forcing me to earn those tools and learn those tools and not giving up on me when I wasn't being obedient and when I wasn't like trying to hear what he had to say. I thank God for saving me and giving me clarity and revealing my gifts and really like pushing me to the limit just to make me be the person I am today. I honestly believe that there's nothing better than being woke, having a purpose, and working to bring the vision to life. Like, I wouldn't trade this peace of mind that I have for anything. And like, I had to go through a lot of peaks and valleys in order to get to this revelation, but I'm so grateful that he took the time to do that for me and forced me to be this person. So, my purpose for sharing my story and like my little 2016 is to encourage you to take action, especially when you hear God prompting you and like poking at you and telling you to do something. Even if you don't fully understand what he's asking or why he's asking it, just do it, because the more you delay what he's telling you to do, the longer you're going to delay your peace, the longer you're going to delay your deliverance or your clarity or your revelation. So just do what he tells you to do, and please don't make him demand your attention like I did. He had to basically make my mother be in a hospital bed for me to listen. So like just listen to what God is saying. Like, your life will be so much better if you just simply submit to his will. Like, and I will say this too. I promise you, his vision for your life is way more extravagant than the vision you're holding on to. Like, there's nothing we can dream of bigger than what God can create for us. So his will always prevails. So you might as well just submit to the will, follow what he's telling you to do, and just roll with the punches. Like, but anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you got something out of it. I want to say good luck with everything you got going on, all of your endeavors, and y'all be blessed. Stay focused and, just chase after every dream that you ever have, because you can do it and you are worth being a priority. So make sure you make yourself a priority. All right, until next time, y'all stay focused, keep grinding, and respect the process. I'm your girl, Optimistic K, and I'm signing out. Y'all have a good day. Peace.